My name's Lauren. I work for Nova Scotia Archives and Records Management in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I like cats.
Hi, I'm Ian. I work at the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, and I like gnomes.
I also like horror movies.
I like knickknacks.
And the internet.
I also like doing plays.
I like Cunard.
And of course, I like history. Oh no, Lauren. How are we ever going to get to Dartmouth with all of this water in the way?
I don't know, Ian. I don't feel really comfortable swimming in the harbor.
If only we had some sort of ferry service.
Ferry boats, they're so cool. Ferry boats, you know they rule.
Even in 1752, people seemed a little desperate to get out of Dartmouth, but it's not because Dartmouth was a crummy place to live, but because they wanted to come over here and sell their goods, fruit and vegetables at the market.
So here we are at the market. Now this would have been the reason why we needed a ferry service. Dartmouth would have been quite agricultural, and people would have been getting their food to Halifax to sell.
Another reason why Dartmouth was important was because Dartmouth is the city of lakes, and in wintertime they freeze over and you get ice. And at the time, there weren't really many good methods of preserving food, so you had ice houses. So again, a vital connection to Dartmouth.
Yeah. They started off with simple ferry service would have been a sailboat, and then moving on from there, it was
a teamboat, which is pretty interesting because around that time that they switched over, it was around 1815. So steam was, happening. Steamboats were around, but the folks around here thought they were way too expensive for them. So they decided instead we'll try to do this teamboat, which was basically horses going in a circle attached to a wheel, which would then move a paddle. So what a beautiful day around the ferry.
It couldn't be nicer. It's gorgeous.
Sea breeze blowing through my hair. Wonderful.
As Halifax and Dartmouth have expanded, the ferry service gets used more and more. Now it runs about once every half an hour every day.
Back in 1752, I got 4 or 5 chances to be on the ferry. One at sunset, one at sunrise, a couple times in between.
Lauren and I were invited up to where the modern ferry is piloted.
It's really cramped, but we'll still.
The old ferry road over there is the location of the second ferry. There were 2 ferries and they were owned by different people. The first one was right here, and then the other one is far down that way.
Oh wow.
And at the time where the Teamster one began, the one with the horses, there was still the guy running the one with just sailboats. So that was their competition, right? So they kept trying to convince him to try and join the board of directors of the other one so that he would shut down his one, which is what he eventually did. Which is kind of interesting.
Plaque on the wall in Halifax which says that this is basically the oldest continuously running ferry in North America.
Yeah. 1752.
Yeah.
For the ferry now, there used to be a ferry that had a bow at both ends, like a schooner. And on the top deck there were 6 horses, and they would go round and round like a brushing.
That's what we're talking about.
That's the ferry you're talking about. Yeah. So it ran for 8 years.
Yep.
And these horses went round and round and round.
What we're investigating is
forth.
one time in 1816, there was a guy who was incredibly drunk on the ferry, and he killed the team of horses.
Oh no, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it was 1818, and the poor horses are trapped in this circle going around, and he starts stabbing them. And I was thinking the logistics of horses being attached to this, and how would a person take down a horse? So I went to the Bengal Lancers. We're here at the Bengal Lancers with Jill Barker. Oh, and who's this here?
This is Juno Beach.
Juno Beach. Beautiful horse. Would have needed horses to go around. Oh, Juno. Oh my. And the account says that a madman took down these horses.
Well, if you're talking about killing it,
Yeah.
it's not hard.
No?
To make a horse bleed out, they've got a lot of major arteries.
Yeah.
Okay, they can be cut right here. If I took a knife right now and went like that, he'd be gone in 3 minutes. With a knife, you can take out a horse real quick.
Oh, the poor thing.
Personally, I think that would be quite difficult because these poor horses are hooked up to this giant wheel. And they're having to walk around in a circle all day in a quick step to get the paddles moving.
Well, and if anyone's ever been on the Halifax-Dartmouth Ferry, there's there's times when it's a little bit choppy, and like, I would say that horses would be frightened by something like that. What happens in storms? Is it really rough out here? Or
yeah, sometimes it's rough. Like last week we have this weather boom.
This is a 60-foot long boat, and it would hold 150 to 200 people. So 8 horses, 200 people. I think these were some tough horses.
Yeah, they were really tough.
Yeah.
And amazingly, after having the team boat, they switched over to this weird egg beater-like thing.
Yeah, one of the options they were looking at, because again, they still felt that a steamboat was far too expensive. These guys were pretty cheap. They had these hand paddles where someone would actually sit back in a boat and crank these little mini paddle wheels, like going like this across the harbor. They were called grinders. It's so hard.
And not many people could fit on something like that.
No, they're only tiny, I think.
They were really tiny.
Seems so inefficient. What were these guys thinking?
Hey, we're here with Gina, who works at the ferry terminal and sees what goes on every day. So how many people do you see still using the ferry?
Oh, yeah, it's a large amount. And I find tourists tend to be amazed at the fact that we even have a ferry service.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how long it's been going on for. One of my favorite things is when I used to work over here in Halifax at historic properties, was getting the ferry in the morning. It's a much more, calming experience.
Yeah.
Here we are with Samuel Cunard.
Really influenced the world in a huge way with the Cunard steamship line. But what a lot of people might not know is that in 1839, he was head of the ferry service here in Halifax, and that was the same year he got approval to be sending the mail back and forth from England to North America.
And that's a huge contract. That's the reason why we have here Haligonian World Benefactor. Having that contract allowed him to grow his company into one of the biggest and most well-recognized steamship companies in the world. So on behalf of humankind for her murder of 8 horses that were running the ferry boat at the time, we want to come here back to the Bengal Lancers to apologize. We're sorry, horses. We love you. You're so majestic.